Yo, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the heavy machine gun nest structure, and it's one of the biggest updates from the last months. It came in the late 2022 winter, and it gives your machine gunner squads immense additional firepower. Now, all you need to do to build heavy machine gun nests is a machine gunner squad. It doesn't matter if it's machine gunner squad 1 or 2, and it doesn't matter whether which faction or campaign you play. Every faction, every campaign has access to it. Every machine gunner squad has access to it. Once you unlock the heavy machine gun nest technology in your blue technology tree for the machine gunners. Now here's what you do. You obviously want an engineer in your machine gunner squad. After this new update, I strongly recommend having 2 engineers instead of a split as this squad currently still has, because 2 engineers can build a machine gun nest much faster. And in order to really use it, especially in the beginning of a game or in the midst of heavy fights, having quick access to the machine gun squad, machine gun nest is extremely important. Also, it very often makes a difference between whether you manage to build it and start firing, or you don't manage to build it 1 second away and you get killed instead. So yeah, it's every second counts. Having 2 engineers and building the machine gun nest, and while you're building, clicking X on the machine gun, so all of the other engineers you control help you build it faster, is extremely strong. Now this is a move you can do with the engineer squad too, but obviously they have many more engineers. But well, your machine gun squad only will have 2 maximum, so this additional building speed really helps out. Now when it comes to actual in-game strategy, there are quite a few really nice ones, so let's take a look. Now here we see the most basic strategy of using HMGs, and it is at the beginning of the game you just rush to a position, preferably flanking the enemies, where you get a good line of sight into either the enemy spawn or into a line where the enemies will be coming from, so you can cut off half of the map or a big part of the map. Now here, for example, the enemies are spawning behind the hill or on top of the hill, and they will be building rally points either on the left side or somewhere on the right. Now my machine gun can sway only a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right, and I'm mostly cut off on the right side, but I control the whole left area. And here, no matter what the enemies do, if they just spawn naturally, if they come downhill, well, they will die. Also, it doesn't matter how far the enemies away are running at you, because there's basically no bullet drop-off in this game, so you can just aim completely perfectly centered on the enemies. Now another thing to notice here is that depending on the faction, obviously every faction has its own machine gun, and these machine guns are very different. For example, this Japanese machine gun, extremely annoying to aim, takes lots of time to get used to, and it's also very slow. Yes, so it literally has all the disadvantages you can imagine combined in one single weapon, but even with all these disadvantages, it's still quite strong. And a slow fire rate though improves the overheating a little bit, since heavy machine gun nests, as other machine guns, also overheat. The only machine guns in the game who don't overheat are the planes machine guns. And you really want to control, and controlling means in this case when you see a big group of enemies, just spray into them so you kill them all. When you see single soldiers, well, if your red overheating line isn't too quick, isn't too far evolved, also spread into them to hit them reliably. But if you're close to overheating, just do single shots, single bursts, or just 1 shot every time. For example, like here, I just do 1 bullet, and well, either hit something or not, because you absolutely want to make sure that you have a bunch of seconds of shooting left in case a squad emerges in front of you. And here, well, I built this machine gun. You see this already quite late into the game. I built this machine gun, I think 3 times around in this area. It got destroyed obviously a couple of times, but I always still could return to this place and build the machine gun up again and start dominating the enemies again. So a good heavy machine gun placement completely wins you the game. This is one of the biggest this is literally one of the biggest game changers to Enlisted. Also, as it was in real life, a good machine gun placement completely dominated the battlefield. If you fight, for example, fighting in a city, a good machine gun placement across a street obviously dominates. And unless this machine gun nest gets destroyed, there's literally no progress possible for the enemies. As you can also see here, no matter what they do, they don't get ahead, they don't do anything. They can't even snipe me from far away. Well, if they have a sniper or a bolt action soldier with very good aim, they could kill me, but both things are quite rare in the game. Also, snipers with good aim are quite rare. So usually just build a machine gun nest and just keep shooting the enemies until they kill you or they destroy your machine gun. Now, another strategy is that once you progress into a game and you see, alright, we have control over the game and we can afford building more risky machine gun nests, meaning in places where it's harder to build one or where we're quite open, but it's worth the risk since, well, even if they kill you, you can afford it, you can just spawn since you have the game under control. In these situations, you want to search for specific spots where you completely cut off the enemies. Now here, in the minutes before this situation, I found that the enemies have rally points in this one door that I'm shooting at, and in the left door that I'm currently not shooting at. Now guess what? Instead of running in and just mining the objective or throwing a bunch of grenades in and destroy the rally points, you can just build a nice machine gun nest and sit there and just farm the kills. Now this is much better than destroying the rally points. Because if you destroy the rally points, if the enemies are smart, they can just, well, concentrate nicely and build a rally point in another position. For example, on the very, very right. And surprise us and still win the game. But if you just let the rally points active, and after identifying their position, just place this machine gun nest perfectly into these rally points, you can just wait until the enemies spawn, and you can completely destroy them. Since the enemies spawn, they rush out and you kill all of them, and this way you bleed the enemies dry much faster than if you would destroy the rally points. So if you have an enemy rally point under control, meaning you know where it is, and you have a really good shooting position on the soldier spawning there, it's actually to your advantage. Because the enemies think, oh, okay, we spawn, we attack, everything's easy. Nope, they just die much faster. Now, what do we do when the same thing happens to us? Now, imagine you're enjoying a nice game and you think everything's under control, but then this here happens, exactly. Suddenly, you see lots of bullets, you see a line of bullets flying into you, and you can't do anything about it. Well, you can do one thing, you can just grab a nice machine gun yourself, or any weapon that sprays strong bullets very quickly, and just aim at the machine gun nest, and you will read machine gun suppressed. This means you destroy the machine gun itself, but the sandbag is still there, and any engineer can repair the whole structure. So the only way to make sure you get rid of it is actually blowing it up. Now the most important thing is not to panic and staying focused, because if you panic, you start doing mistakes and you literally can't afford any mistake, because you see even 1 millimeter too far to the right or to the left and you're gonna get shot. Now, first of all, the farther away you are from the machine gun nest, the better, because the dispersion is so strong that if you're standing far enough away, you can theoretically stand exactly in the center of the enemy shooting. The bullets will just spray around you. This actually happens quite a lot. Another thing you can do is you can just go left and right. Keep in mind, the closer you are to the machine gun, the higher the likelihood that you're going to get shot. Now what I did here is basically, I took a FG42, which shoots quite precisely and also quite strong damage with its bullets, basically similar to the machine gun nest damage. And obviously I wait until he stops spraying, until I think he's overheating, and then I just peek out. You see, he was shooting and I was peeking, I was hiding. Then once again, when he starts shooting, when the enemy starts shooting, I go hiding again. Now the best way to get rid of the machine gun nest is not to destroy the machine gun nest itself, but to shoot by the headshot the dude who's using it. Because it takes around 2 seconds to actually man the machine gun nest. Also, since we're playing a Gaijin game, there are sometimes bugs that after you man the machine gun nest, you get thrown out of it. And then it takes 2 more seconds until you manned it. So yeah, every single interruption that you do to the machine gun user is extremely effective. And the best interruption is obviously just to headshot him, since his body is hidden behind the sandbag. And if you have an anti-tank rifle, this is actually the best thing, because anti-tank rifles can one-shot heavy machine gun nests. You just shoot into the sandbag or into the machine gun nest and it gets destroyed. Ironically, rocket launchers like Panzerfaust and similar things don't one-shot the heavy machine gun nests. Now this is just an error or bad coding. Obviously they should do it, but they don't very often. If you have, of course, stuff like tanks and so on, it's obviously also very effective. If it's high caliber, you don't even need anti-tank piercing shells, you just need high explosives and it's okay. And also a good old TNT pack after getting close enough to the machine gun just seals the deal. Now here, even after I suppressed the machine gun nest, I needed to make sure to blow it up, because this tunnel is perfect placement. We are spawning behind and the enemies just place the perfect machine gun and they control the whole game. If we don't make sure to blow up this machine gun nest, we would likely lose. So yeah, we need to absolutely make sure that we destroy it. A really nice and fancy thing you can do is the following. You just build your heavy machine gun nest in a position where enemies just won't see you, but where, well, you either kind of see them or where you just know where they're coming from and just spray into your objective. For example, here, I'm hidden nicely in this bush, but 1 minute ago I saw the enemies attacking us from their side. So yeah, I can just spray into the direction where the enemies are coming from and, well, they're all dead. Yeah, this is how you do it. You obviously need map knowledge for this, and this trick only works with good map knowledge. Or if you've seen an attack coming, or if you're playing together with some dudes and they tell you over your voice channel that the enemies are coming from there, and then you just spray into them. Now, in order to pull this off, you need to do the following. You need to make sure the following is true. A, you need to be able to build it quickly, so the fast building perk or having 2 engineers, preferably both, is recommended. B, you're actually well hidden behind this bush, so you need to, well, look at this position from the other side first, which I did 1 minute ago to check how well this bush is hiding. And also, here you can see nicely the advantage of the heavy machine gun nest over the normal machine gun nest. Now this heavy machine gun nest, I just sprayed non-stop until I didn't find any enemies to kill anymore. The normal machine gun nests overheat faster usually. This machine gun nest doesn't. Also, the firing rate is much faster. It's around 50 to 100% faster. So even if you don't see enemies, you can afford just spraying into the unknown and get your kills. With a normal machine gun nest, this wouldn't necessarily work. Also, since the enemies see a line of bullets lasering through the city, they will have like 1 moment or 1 second or millisecond to, well, shoot back. If you do this with a normal machine gun nest, they will have more time to shoot back. But here they won't, because the moment they see you, they instantly die. So yeah, try this out. It's a lot of fun. It's similar to what I did in the intro video. I just built a machine gun nest where no one expects it and just killed enemies. Now, well, there people expected it since it was literally the beginning of the match. And it's like a classical case to hide machine gun nests in buildings. But here, no one expects a machine gun nest hidden in a bush. So yeah, very effective strategy. One thing people don't really get is that they think, I built a machine gun nest, and now this is what I invested in, and this is what I'm going to use for the next 5 minutes. No, I recommend them not using this way, because A, you become very inflexible, and you start to lose your focus on the most important things in the game, on the bigger picture, and B, you just start overcommitting to this one position. But whenever enemies see someone is firing from a heavy machine gun nest, they start to hunt you, because they obviously want to get rid of you quickly. So what I do is, after I did this, I just left the position, I let the enemies blow it up and be happy about it and think, okay, heavy machine gun nest is gone, and then I just build it on another place. Yes. So you want to be flexible and just build them around the map after enemies destroy them, or after you destroyed it yourself by pressing J. But, well, you don't want to... I can't remember ever destroyed a machine gun nest myself, because the enemies usually very quickly take care of it, and as long as you make sure your engineer is still alive, you can just quickly build another one in another spot. Now what we here just saw is the fact that heavy machine gun nests can penetrate through small or lightly armored vehicles. Now I recommend just try it out against any enemy vehicles in the campaigns that you play, and you're gonna see the first vehicles you play against usually have either completely easily destroyable, or they have specific weak spots. For example, in this campaign, I can even destroy the high mid-level tanks, the high mid-level T-28 tanks with it. I can't completely kill everyone, but I can at least penetrate them in such a way that most of their crew are dead and the tank becomes useless. So yeah, this is very, very important, especially in low-level campaigns like Pacific and Moscow. Now, the same thing obviously also works on planes, and here we see an IL-2 trying to attack us from far away, and even though he was shooting us, he was trying to bomb us, we still managed to survive thanks to the protection from the sandbag, and we even managed to shoot it down. Now, important to notice is that some planes in the game are either extremely well armored or they're coded in a way that they're just hard to shoot down with machine gun nests. Now, this is a high caliber machine gun. Many planes in the game have 2 to 4, sometimes even 6 of these high caliber machine guns, and even they don't manage to instantly destroy or quickly destroy an enemy plane. So if you see, like here, you shoot at the plane and you don't instantly make it explode, but you force it to crash land and to die a couple seconds later, this is already a great outcome. Now, for those wondering why you can't penetrate wood with your heavy machine gun nest, well, this is the reason. Once the update got released and heavy machine gun nests were introduced, many players, meaning a majority of players, started just building them and camping somewhere and just shelling objectives with their machine gun fire. Now, when you can penetrate wood, stuff like this happens. You kill everyone in the objective, and then you just start shooting randomly through the building in search for enemies or some random structures. Now here I just brain deadly destroyed 2 ammo boxes and killed like almost 20 enemies. Now this obviously isn't good for the game because it leads to very unfun games. So yeah, overall, the fact that they can't penetrate wood anymore is an improvement, though it should be, well, I'm sure in the near future there's going to be a smart update to the physics where they will penetrate again, but they won't deal much damage. Since we know Gaijin is a bit slow when it comes to smart coding, yeah, they didn't do it instantly, so yeah. Alright, let me know what you think about the heavy machine gun nests, how you use them, and make sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, goodbye.